What's up, guys? Okay, so I want to share with you everything you'll need to know when it comes to writing and creating replenishment reminders, which are a super important flow. And to be perfectly honest, I think they're a little overlooked on the email marketing, Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn space. So hopefully this is valuable for you. Got Michael Jordan here purely because I like Michael and I want to make sure that we are striving for excellence as MJ did, and that's always the goal here at our agency. It's to strive for excellence and master our craft, and I think he embodies all of that. So just to share with you, after this little presentation here, I'm actually going to then segue into a tutorial with how to build this, and it's a live example of a brand of ours. It's going to be super valuable. Stick around for that as well, but I'm going to share with you here some other ideas about best practices just so you can wrap your head around what the replenishment reminder is, maybe how it differs to other flows as well, and yeah, best practices and some examples as well to follow. So what are replenishment flows? Might have to move my head here. We'll just move them around. So replenishment flows are automated emails sent to customers reminding them to purchase products that they're likely running out of. Ideal for consumables like vitamins, coffee, beauty products, consumer packaged goods. I don't know whether or not it's bleach or tissues or toilet roll, whatever it might be. If you need your customer to be purchasing regularly and your product needs restocking, this is super important. So the goal is obviously to aim to drive repeat purchases and increase customer lifetime value. And then this is where email marketing really then becomes that powerful retention tool. I've peppered photos of really good examples throughout this as well, so we'll focus on these as we go. Magic Spoon must be happy. They get so much attention in the email marketing space, and rightly so. They're really good at what they do. So what I love about this email, and you can take something away from this, is firstly, you can pretty much see it in one, like very little scrolling necessary. Of course, the design is very much aligned with what a quirky, fun cereal brand should be. It's cartoony, it's childlike, it's engaging, it's playful. And I think the devil's in the detail here with the copy. So are you pouring smaller bowls? Don't settle for smaller bowls just to savor those sweet spoonfuls. Restock your supply and fill those bowls to the top. Order now. So like, what's so great about that, and we're going to get into this a little bit later, is it's very self-aware and it's very relatable. So this is a theme to make a really good replenishment reminder, is like, be relatable. Of course, if you're selling bleach, or if you're selling like real household products or office products, it's not necessarily going to be the same tongue-in-cheek personality that we're seeing here with Magic Spoon. So it's got to be relevant to your brand, but there's something you can take away from this as a principle. It's being self-aware and it's being relatable, and it's understanding where your customer will be at when they're starting to get low on their product. Like we all have our own example of that, and they lean into that perfectly. And I think they're very self-aware with that. And it's brilliant. Their CTA is fantastic. So they've just got a clear order now here. They've got get more here. It's pretty minimal. And what have they got here at the bottom? Small bowls are no fun. You deserve all the cereal you want. Fantastic. So great email example there with Magic Spoon replenishment reminder. Okie dokie. So why use replenishment flows? I should really have made my head smaller here. Let's minimize him. There we go. So customers who purchase twice are 9 times more likely to convert against compared to first-time buyers. Like, retention ultimately, especially for the CPG industry, is where the money's made. So it's having predictable systems in place where you don't constantly have to be doing it. Of course, you should be sending regular campaigns anyway, and that in and of itself should be a retention tool. However, having very targeted replenishment reminders are going to be super helpful in letting less customers slip through the cracks, less first-time customers slip through the cracks, and getting them into the habit of purchasing your product over and over again and becoming part of your community. So another stat here, the average e-commerce store earns 41% of its revenue from repeat customers who represent just 8% of the customer base. So that's really interesting stat there. And repeat customers spend 3 times as much as the first-time customer. And that's, again, data based off the back of Klaviyo, which pretty much is seeing on aggregate all of the e-commerce data across Europe and within the USA as well, and we're getting statistics like that. This has come off the back of conversations we've had with our most recent Klaviyo partners as well, and on conference calls with Klaviyo, and being on workshop and masterminds with them. So I wanted to share that with you. I think it's really interesting, and it should just be more incentive to prioritize replenishment flows and various different post-purchase flows. So this is another good one from a beauty brand. Down to your last drop. Don't run out. Reorder and save 10%. So they're going straight in with the discount, which I definitely don't actually think you need to do. I would advise, if they're not already, I would say test that and see if see whether or not you need to be leveraging that discount and hurting your margins there. It may just very well be baked into their model, but don't get caught Don't get caught having I stepped out of the shower and realized I ran out of everything moment. So again, they've got the self-aware, relatable quip within their email copy, and that just works so well. We've got you covered ASAP, and they've actually decided here to go, I know you love these too. So they've pretty much like combined an offer. They've got the replenishment reminder in here as well. I would make the CTA bolder if I was to actually advise them on this. I would have a CTA here as well, and I would actually probably ditch the cross-sell right now. I would ditch the cross-sell right now on this email, and I'm just saying out loud, and this is from years of doing this, because we want to be really, really intentional. The goal here is to get people to repurchase. What we can do, we can keep the cross-selling for separate flows, whether they be customer win-backs or whether they be campaigns as well, and targeting people who haven't purchased in a while, so engage people who haven't purchased for a while. So I would save that for campaigns and post-purchase flows, or customer win-backs, for example, and I wouldn't complicate this. Or maybe at least save that for the third email. So if you're going to do 3, do 2 where you're just reminding people to replenish, and if that's not winning them over, it may well be that actually that product wasn't for them, and you might have to suggest other things. So maybe save that for the third email if you wanted some advice off the top. So best practices for creating replenishment flows. We want to keep it short and sweet. So we want to remind customers their product is running out and that they need to restock. This is a great example here. You want to be concise and use direct messaging. I've already said this, be self-aware in your copy. Make sure that you match your brand tone though. For example, beauty brand above says, don't get caught having a I stepped into the shower moment. We've gone over that. Same for Magic Spoon. We also want to highlight our unique selling points. You'll see me doing this in a setup I do for a supplement brand of ours as well. We really lean into some of the USPs for our product as well. We're not seeing it here. It also is not an essential, but I would have maybe one where it's just concise and a punchy reminder, and another one where it's sort of leaning into unique benefits as well. Within the flows that you're going to see me create, I only do 2 emails, but there's actually 2 more you could do. And I would say the third one you can reserve for leaning into a discount, maybe leaning into a cross-sell, upsell, or even leaning into a plain text email. So those are all content you could reserve for 3 emails, maybe even 4. So like you don't have to restrict yourself to just 2 emails for the replenishment flows. For example, even for our welcome series for our brands, usually we're doing like 8 or 9 emails, where most people are only doing like 4. So as long as the content is intentional and makes sense for your product category and your target audience, don't be afraid to put more in there if it makes sense. And of course, the product flow filters will take people out if they purchase anyways. It's all good to experiment with things here in email marketing. So yeah, highlight and use brand focused message to reinforce your values. Okay, so you should already know a lot about this. This is important. So timing and segmentation. So time is crucial. So predicting when customers will need to reorder is pretty much the art here, the art and science of the replenishment flow, as usage patterns can vary significantly. For let's say a 24 pack of skin treatment, or maybe like digestive enzymes or painkillers, that may last one person 4 weeks, while it may last another person 4 months. It's not set in stone, like, for example, a supplement product, which has got like a month-long supply and you should be looking to restock pretty soon after. So what you can do in these cases when they may vary and may not be so like clear cut is use the predictive analysis tool and historic customer data to determine the average time between orders. This can be done within Klaviyo, and this will help to ensure that the replenishment email is sent to the customer when it's likely to be running low. And the more data you've got, the more reliable this is going to be. So as a general guideline, for any product with a 30-day supply though, which is what we're going to do later, consider sending the first email anywhere from 20 to 25 days after the previous purchase. Cool. So we also want to segment our audience. So we want to tailor our replenishment emails to each segment for better engagement, but we don't need to get lost in location, geography for replenishment for the most part. I think that's over segmenting, if I'm honest. But you would want to, maybe, for example, what we're going to do in the next one is we're actually just going to do it for first time purchases, because that's what we wanted to establish. We're an agency, and we have conversations with our brand owners and we discuss what makes sense, because we've got very sticky customers with that brand. So we're just going to go straight for first time purchases. A lot of skincare and supplement brands though have a replenishment reminder, which pretty much will kick off every month if someone hasn't signed up. So we might extend to that as well for this particular example you're going to see in a second. We may not, but it's good to have the context there. Product-based segmentation can also be useful. So what you'll see is we have conditional splits for our different products because it's going to be different content as well. Also, yeah, maybe within one company, different products and different SKUs have different life cycles. So one might be a 30-day replenishment every day, like a 30-day supply, but the other one might not be. Let's say it's a beauty brand and you've got mascara and you've got like a moisturizer. They might be different. So this isn't, again, when you either want to clone and make separate flows, or if you want to get crafty, and you can do it within the same one, and you can have various different branches and trigger splits and conditional splits to accommodate for this. But we'd start basic and build up is my advice if you're just getting started with this. Choose your best sellers, build off the back of that, and then you can get more diversity as you go. Or if you just want help with this from the outset, you can contact a company like ours and we can do the full setup for you and take care of all of this. So yeah, product-based segmentation could be useful, especially for brands with diverse product lines and varying consumption rates. So that's good to know. Okay, awesome. So summary, before I dive into the example. Replenishment flows are a powerful tool to increase repeat purchases and customer loyalty. Follow best practices, keep it short, highlight USPs, time correctly, segment your audience, but continuously optimize as well. So you can add in those offers on the third email. You can maybe add in a cross-sell on the third email as well to try and win more people over the line. For me, while discounts may seem like a good idea, I tend to keep them for our brands for our win-back flow. We like to keep our flows organized and into clear buckets with clear intentions. So we don't tend to lean into discounts all that often with replenishment reminders. We think the reminder does the job 9 times out of 10, as long as the content's good. So with that, with no further ado, I'm going to dive into a tutorial now on how to set this up for a live brand of ours. Hope it's valuable. And if it is, give me a little comment and subscribe as well, and it'd be great to hear if this was helpful for you. Okay, so in this example, we're doing a replenishment reminder for a brand of ours. They've got 2 particular SKUs, 2 different supplements. So this can vary depending on how many different SKUs you have for your particular brand, or at least which items you want to be running this replenishment reminder for. Again, this is really well suited to products which ideally are purchased on a monthly or every 2 months. So skincare products, supplement brands they would really benefit from this. So the way we want to set this up is just go to Klaviyo, get the standard template, which will set you up with the trigger in Shopify, which is when someone has placed an order. Then you want to understand your product lifecycle, of course. So for us, 30 days is really when we should be thinking about restocking because it's a month-long supply. Of course, not everyone's going to consume it within that month, but we're not looking to win necessarily everyone here, but we're definitely looking to encourage retention and build retention with those who are using the product regularly. And, campaigns throughout the month really should be encouraging someone to be using your product regularly, whether it's skincare, whether it's supplements. You want content throughout the month saying like, are you consistent? Are you using this? Like the benefits from this product come with consistency. Like there's so many different campaign angles that you can build to encourage consistent use at the end of the day to reap the benefits of whatever you're sending to them. But when we get round to building this replenishment reminder, what we first want to do is we want to create a conditional split. Because in this instance, we only want to target customers who have purchased for the first time. We don't want to be doing this every month. You could do this every month, but at least the agreement we've got with our clients at the moment is we just want to start to build the habit for those who have entered into their world for the first time. Usually customers are very sticky with this brand, so we just want to put measures in place where we're reducing the amount of first-time purchases that drop off after the first purchase. So that's the goal with this one. So firstly, what we want to do is select a condition. So we want to go when someone has, we want to go down to the Shopify triggers, placed order. If you're using WooCommerce or Magento or any other Shopify platform, just make sure you're selecting the trigger from your e-com store and it's properly configured. We want to go is equal to, and then you just want to put 1. And then we want to say overall time for this particular flow. So now that's going to predetermine first time purchases only 25 days later. So that's great, but now we've got 2 different SKUs. So we want to create 2 different branches for those 2 different SKUs. So we want to go on to trigger split under yes, because these are going to be the people who have purchased for the first time and it's coming up to restock time. And then we want to go, we want to go down to items. So we want to go down to items here It might be slightly different, so just look around for the right wording. It depends on how your Shopify, how organized it is in the back end, contains. And then these are our different SKUs here as well. So we've got Atlas Total Support, Atlas Total Support. We know this is actually the one that they're selling. They don't sell it. They don't sell it like this. They got their grass-fed whey as well. So for this one, we'll just click Atlas Total Support, and that's fine. So we can just do that. So we're going to go item contains Atlas Total Support, yes. So then what we can do is we can bring an email here, and we've already built this email. So then what we can do, and I'll show you through the email as well, just to sort of give you an idea of how we've approached this one. So we can select template, Atlas Total Support 1. So this is the one that we've built. And then there should be some clear goals of a replenishment reminder. They should be, your goals should be to obviously engage. Simply sending the email alone is going to be far better than not sending email, but then it's also going to be the quality of the content. So we've got a certain theme and aesthetic that we send for this brand, and the brands that we work with can look vastly different depending on what their target audience is, what they're trying to establish themselves as. Like if you're a sustainable brand, are you trying to be a luxury Canada Goose? Are you looking to be more of a Patagonia? Like what brand are you aspiring to be? And of course, your unique twist. That's going to really determine how we design things and how we configure the anatomy of the email. We want clear CTAs, but then the content needs to be around encouraging people. So look here, just like you wouldn't ignore low fuel warning in your car, it's crucial to keep your health supplies in check. Your Atlas Total Support is likely starting to run low, and it's essential to keep your routine uninterrupted and maintain your gains in health and vitality. Each ATS capsule is packed with scientifically backed nutrients precisely tailored for men's health. So essentially, and we know these angles here work as well. So better sleep, enhanced sexual vitality, higher testosterone levels, and reduced stress are all winning angles that we've tested over campaigns. These are clear benefits that we know engage and probably were the reason that someone purchased within the first place. So what we might find is, someone bought off the back of these, but they haven't even been necessarily using it yet. So this firstly might just act as a reminder for them to actually start using their product, and then they will come back around again. Or it might be a reminder of the goals that they're aspiring for. They might go, oh yeah, this actually has been making that change in my life. I want to keep the party going. And then again, we'll remind them to jump on and make their purchase again. So what I'm trying to say here is the content of the email needs to be appropriate. It needs to understand where a customer might be at the end of month one. Like think about yourself when you've purchased a supplement for the first time. Like what do you need to hear? Where might you be at? You have to sort of get inside the mind of your customer and then write content that's going to incentivize. Again, we're using the same footers and banners that we usually use. PSR team's here to support you. 2 big CTAs. We actually tested big CTAs and small CTAs with this brand, and big wins by a large margin. So don't let your routine slip. Okay, cool. So we can use that. So again, we've already planned out these subject lines here. We recommend that you name these as well, just so you stay organized. We see so many Klaviyo accounts which are a mess. So if you're an agency, don't let your client's account become a mess. Like organize it. Like what have they hired you to do? They've hired you to come in and create order, not more chaos. And it's going to be better for yourself. So running low on Atlas Total Support, it's really to the point. Like, are you running low? Like it's sort of touching on the pain thing. Like don't run out. Like, the pain would be like your stock's running low, keep on top of it. So it's simple, it's to the point. I don't think it needs to be that much more witty than this. Of course, depending on brand tone and voice as well, you can play with different things as well, maybe run some tests, but we found this to be super effective. So just running low on said product, and then we're following up in the copy text with it's time to replenish. So like question, benefit, and this is a basic copy framework. So like pain, solution, like running low on Atlas Total Support, it's time to replenish. Here we are. Like super simple sort of framework when it comes to copywriting here. No rocket science. So we want to click done, and we're going to have our first email there. So now we really want to take care of this within 30 days. So, this is on day 25. So let's give a time delay of another 3 days, I would say. 3 days. That's perfect. So we can just write 3 days here, and then we can bring in another email. And we're going to show you this email as well. So we can click here, come down to select templates as well. You should have designed your own templates at this stage, or if you're an agency, you should have them within saved templates. You should have already given the brief at this point when you're pulling them live. Everything should be created okay with the client, and they should be happy bunnies. And this should also be another reminder, but there's always an opportunity to just have a slightly different angle. So like with an abandoned cart, for example, there are many different objections that we can handle with our content, as well as just reminding. So simple reminders and really short copy work really nicely. But also if we're going to have a little bit longer copy, we want to just make sure that we're handling objections, and we want to encourage, inspire, and just lean into consumer psychology. Like, why might someone not be purchasing right now? It just might be a poor habit. Like when we understand habit formation, that is something that most people struggle with, and that's why people struggle to stick with good habits. So like for supplement brands, it's really tapping into like the idea of habit formation when it comes to replenishment and retaining. So this is the angle and the line that we've taken here. So like, remember, stay consistent with ATS. Is it time to replenish? Question again, continue your journey with ATS. Remember, consistency beats perfection. The most successful athletes, leaders show us time and time again that maintaining good habits is crucial for long-term success. So that's inspirational. And remember, like, you may not be exactly where you want to be with the benefits that you hoped you would get right now, but we're sort of talking them out of like short-term gratification. And I think that's really important because it sort of calls our audience to strive for a larger ideal, and that's going to keep them purchasing as well. And it's sort of almost like encouraging them to jump onto higher values and a philosophy. And that's very on brand here as well, but I think you can take those principles for any like supplement or skincare brand and sort of work it in to a replenishment flow. So Atlas Total Support is designed to support key aspects of male health. Again, so this is just a benefit. Regular use ensures sustained benefits like increased calm, better sleep quality, and robust vitality. When good habits compound, new levels of vitality begin to unlock. So sometimes it takes time to unwind effects of bad health habits as well. So don't let those habits slip just as you start to see the benefits again. So like, we're getting into the shoes of where our customer might be. So they might have just started to see benefits, and how many of us do this? We just start to see benefits, and then we stop doing the things that started working for us. So it's reminding people of this dynamic and then funneling them through with a CTA. So again, the content here is really intentional, and this can sometimes be the difference between actually engaging people and not. Copy, sometimes less copy is better than bad copy, but then if you're going to write, make sure it's good and make sure it's intentional. This is what I'm trying to encourage you to do alongside this tutorial as well, and sort of letting you into how we think about this. So keep up your new commitments. They'll pay off exponentially. Feel better each month and with noticeable improvements in all areas of life. Set yourself up for success. Ensure you're never without your daily support. Again, so like, that's a pain there, making sure you're never without, like, oh, it's working for me. Like, the last thing I want to do is go to my cupboard and have nothing in there and have to wait like 3 days for delivery. So we're touching on that again. Not every brand needs their copy to be this long. This is actually really, really on brand for this particular company because some of their campaigns are really long form. Like they work really well when we do educational emails and inform and inspire the audience. They have a very stoic, philosophical tone. So it all comes down to knowing your tone as well. And if you want to know a bit more about that, go on my email marketing copy masterclass, and that will show you all about how to actually know your audience and what they expect, what's going to resonate, and how to make strategic tests which aren't overwhelming and really get copy that resonates with your audience. So I've got an hour and a half long free masterclass there of everything our agency does. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, that's about right. All of the links are set up nicely. The design looks pucker and super on brand. You know, for this one, the subject line, I've gone for something like consistency is key, and we can go consistency is key. Let's go. Stay on top of your game. Again, that's going to appeal to sort of the masculine audience we've got here as well. Like, so consistency is key. Stay on your game. So again, it's talking about exactly what we're the whole email's about. So it's really letting them into, like, we want to encourage them to be consistent, and that's going to help them stay on top of their game and not let them slip off. So that's really, really cool. Okay, great. I spared you going through the second branch of this particular product. The next thing that we want to make sure that we haven't got on is smart sending, because if you've got a decent campaign under which you should do, there's a high chance that one of these prospects may have received an email from you recently. So if you've got smart sending on, they're not actually going to receive this replenishment reminder, and we want to make sure they do, because this content takes precedence, because it's really geared towards exactly where they're at on their journey. So it's very, very precise. It's very, very relevant content, and it's going to have a higher chance of increasing customer lifetime value. So we just want to go on to these emails here, and we actually want to turn off smart sending on this, which is not the case for all campaigns. For example, you want to have smart sending on, but for flows, for the important flows, you can actually take them off. So we want to take off smart sending. And last but not least, one thing I would also say is you could actually probably put a third email in here as well. I would probably put it for like a week after, or maybe 5 days after. So like you've hit them twice, want to give them a bit of time to breathe, allow them maybe to receive a campaign. Then what I'll do is I just go for a plain text email only. I'll go for a plain text email, and I'll sort of give you an example on what this looks like and why it's such a winner. So here's an example of a plain text email that we send for a client. This is actually for Father's Day, but it could actually easily be done for a replenishment reminder as well. So we obviously want the dynamic field. We want it to be personal from the founder. We want a link layer like shop sale. And here's what's really cool. So this is a particularly small brand, but if you look at the open rates, on average, we're doing like 45 to 50% for them, which is great. Plain text emails, 74%, click rate 38%, and the placed order rate here outperformed any of the sexy designed emails that we did. So this is always a really, really important step as well. So work in plain text emails to your abandoned carts, your browse abandonments, your welcome series, and also your replenishment reminders. We're going to do it for this brand as well, but I just wanted to give you some basics on how to set up a good replenishment reminder and some basic principles. I hope that was helpful. I wish you all the best. And if you've got any questions, let me know. And if you want me to do a free audit for your account, come to us. You know, at the end of the day, we've been doing this for over 3.5 years now. We've worked with over 100 different e-com brands. Let's make this more personal. We worked with over 100 different e-com brands within multiple different product categories. So we have a really good idea on how to set up and optimize all of your flows, and then what continued and consistent optimization and gradual implementation of advanced flows looks like. We also have a very good experience on how to handle campaign calendars and build very intentional campaign calendars, which touch on all of your key content pillars. We help you define that and ultimately not only save you time, but uplift your email marketing strategy to way more than what you could probably be doing yourself. So yeah, if you want a hand, let us know, drop a line, hop on my website and maybe book in a free order. Leave your credit card at home. It's not going to be a hard sell whatsoever. Let's just have a conversation and see if we resonate. Otherwise, hope that was helpful. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.